Hi, my dear students, friends. Okay, let's get into the matter quickly. So, kinematics part, we have concluded that kinematics part where we only discussed about the displacement, velocity, acceleration, and time. So, now we entered into the kinetics part. Listen carefully. Your half part of your fourth unit covers kinetics, and whole fifth unit covers kinetics. It means only half unit syllabus is having kinematics. Okay, your fourth unit's half part is kinematics and the remaining half part is kinetics, and complete fifth units is kinetics. Okay, so kinetics means we discuss we here in this concept we discuss about the forces which are responsible for the motion of the body, and what is the value of that force, magnitude of the force, and what is the velocity and what is the acceleration, etc., etc. So along with acceleration, velocity, and displacement in time, we are going to find out the forces also. It may be tension, it may be pressure applied, it may be any force, it may be anything which is whose units are newtons. So first in this case, we'll learn about bodies of rectilinear translation, rotating about fixed axis, curvilinear translation, bodies plane motion. Okay. Bodies rectilinear translation, for Newton's second law we know that force is nothing but mass into acceleration. Listen carefully, this is my point. To understand kinetics we must go through some techniques, and the first method is D'Alembert's principle, and the work energy method, and impulse momentum method. These are the three topics, these are the three concepts which are applied for the real time problems to find out the forces responsible for the motion of the body and the mass, acceleration, velocity, etc., etc. So in the fourth unit, this part we discussed about D'Alembert's principle. In the fifth unit we discussed about work energy method and impulse momentum method. So D'Alembert principle, what is D'Alembert principle, we'll see. So now the rectilinear motion is nothing but force is we know that Newton's second law is nothing but force is equal to mass into acceleration. Okay, this is Newton's second law, very familiar, we are very familiar with this. Now what D'Alembert said is the term minus ma, r is equal to ma, r minus ma is equal to 0, r is the resultant force, the net force acting on the body, net force acting on the body is equal to the inertia of the body. Here the concept of inertia is nothing but the strength of the body. For example, I am pulling a body forward and the body is not going forward because due to the inertia of the body. So I have to put more effort. So I have to put effort which is more than inertia of the body. Inertia is nothing but the strength of the body. As if you want the meaning in pure Telugu is nothing but jadatvam. If you Google it, then you will get this one, jadatvam, inertia. So what D'Alembert said is, if F is equal to ma, in D'Alembert's consideration, F is the net force acting on the body and ma is the inertia of the body. It means F is the force acting on the body to change the position of the body or to give the motion to the body, and ma is the inertia offering by the body. If both are same, then the body will be in equilibrium. I think you are getting this point. F is equal to ma, where F is nothing but the net force acting on the body and ma is nothing but the inertia of the body. If both are same, then the body doesn't go anywhere. The body will be in equilibrium. This is the D'Alembert principle. Go through this line to line, very easy. You can understand. D'Alembert looks the above equation of an equation of dynamic equilibrium and states that the system of forces acting on a body in motion is dynamic equilibrium. If you apply the same concept to the dynamics, moving body, then it is known as dynamic equilibrium. If the body is not moving, it is in rest, then it is static equilibrium. So D'Alembert principle. According to D'Alembert principle, consider a lift, elevator or cage. So I am explaining D'Alembert's principle by using a lift. Lift means apartment. You see in apartments, offices, MNCs, the lift which are we used to travel to the floors, first floor, second floor, third floor, which will reduce the human effort. So okay, m is equal to mass carried by the lift A is equal to uniform acceleration of the lift, R is equal to reaction of the lift or tension in the cable supporting the lift. So you have to understand every lift will be supported with a cable. So the R is nothing but the reaction of the lift or tension in the cable. You can call it as T, you can call it as P, you can call it as R, whatever it may be. Okay, consider the lift. So example, a man weighing W newtons entered a lift which moves with an acceleration of a meter per second square, A meter per second square. Find the force exerted by the man on the floor of the lift when lift is moving downward, B, lift is moving upward. Okay, so there is a lift and a man entered into the lift. The weight of the man is W and the acceleration of with which the lift is moving is A. So there is no numericals given, there is only alphabets given. So we have to find out the concentrations. Now this is the lift diagram. So weight of the lift, as we know, it acts downward, and tension in the cable R1 acts upward. So here the tension in cable is considered as R1. So there are two conditions, lift is moving downwards, lift is moving upwards. So now we'll take when the lift is moving downwards. Take the condition when the lift is moving downwards. I will separately draw a sketch for you. Okay, here it's a lift, weight of the person act downwards, and the tension in the cable act upwards, which will protect from falling. Okay, W R1. Okay, what is the net force acting on the body? I mean net force acting on the lift. So downward weight, upward R1. So when the lift is going downward, it means we have to consider the downward force as positive and opposite to downward as negative. Actually in statics in the first unit, we consider all the vertically down forces are negative, all vertical up forces are positive, and horizontally rightward forces are positive, horizontally left forces are negative. Got the point? Okay. But here in this case, what we do is, in what direction the body is moving, in that direction all the forces will be positive, and the forces which are opposite to the direction of the motion will be considered as negative. In this case, the body moving down means the weight will be positive and R1 will be negative. So okay, so here and we understand W is nothing but mg. W is mg. Weight W is equal to mass into gravity. So then mass is nothing but weight by gravity. Mass is nothing but weight divided by gravity. This equation we should know this relation, W is equal to mg. Okay. So algebraic sum of the vertical forces when the lift is moving downwards, the inertia force Ma is nothing but W by G into A. So algebraic sum of the forces in vertical direction will be 0 if lift gives R1 minus W plus W. You can take R1 as positive and the weight as negative also, no problem. R1 minus W plus W by G into A is equal to 0. So R1 is equal to W into 1 minus A by G. So the reaction, that reaction is nothing but the tension in the cable. This is nothing but the tension in the cable, I mean the wire which is carrying the lift, is equal to W into 1 minus A by G. Now the second case one, when the lift is moving upwards, then R2 minus W, R2 minus W. When R2 minus W, R2 is equal to W into 1 plus A by G. R2 minus W is equal to R2 is equal to W into 1 plus A by G. This is the example for the lift. So nothing, F is equal to Ma, that is the concept, where F is the net force acting on the body. So we have to draw the free body diagram for the concept, and we have to take all the possible forces which are in the direction of motion, that all the forces will be the net force acting on the body. We have to find out the resultant for all the forces, and that will be equal to mass into acceleration, where mass is nothing but the W by G, weight by gravity. So simple. Now do this problem. An elevator of mass 2500 kg is moving vertically downward with a constant acceleration starting from rest. It travels a distance of 35 meters during an interval of 10 seconds. So find the cable tension during this time, neglecting all other resistance to motion. What are the limits of cable tension? So clear. So the given mass is elevator is m is equal to 2500 kg. Initial velocity u is equal to 0 because it is from rest. Distance traveled s is equal to 35 and t is equal to 10 seconds. Let's say is equal to acceleration due to gravity. We know that the distance traveled by the elevator is nothing but s is equal to ut plus half at square. Substitute all the values, you will get the a. Tension in the cable when the elevator is moving vertically downwards, we know that formula r is equal to m into g minus a. Substitute, you can get the answer. Limits of cable tension. A little consideration will show the cable tension will have two limits, that is when acceleration is 0 and when the acceleration is maximum. Clear? So cable tension when the elevator is moving vertically downwards, 0 acceleration, r is equal to m into g minus a. When the cable tension accelerated maximum, that is 9.8 meter per second square. So this is the example for the lift. So where we applied D'Alembert's principle. D'Alembert's principle is nothing but F is equal to ma, where F is equal to ma is nothing but F is applied force, ma is the inertia force. If the equation is satisfied, then the body is in equilibrium. If it is a stable equilibrium, then it is static equilibrium. It is if applied to moving body, then it is a dynamic equilibrium. Simple. We have to draw the free body diagram for the figure, and we have considered all the forces which are in the direction of motion, and that will be placed in the place of F and is equal to m nothing but w by g into acceleration. Then you will get all the things which you don't know, all the unknowns you can find out. Okay, do the problems, concentrate on the problems. There is a textbook also, sir. Actually our professors, physics professors Madhumohan Garu and sir both have prepared a textbook for you. I think all of you having the textbook, go and refer the problems in the textbook. Those are very easy. Have any doubt, please call me. Feel free to call me and message me. We'll meet in the next video. We'll discuss much more things which are related to D'Alembert's principle. Bye.